המוח הזה הוא יותר חכם מהמחשב הכי חכם. הוא יותר חכם מכל דבר חכם, כי הוא מייצר את החוכמה בעולם. אם זה הדבר הכי חכם, מוכרח שיהיה חכם שתכנן את החוכמה הזאת. מי קדם למוח שהיה לו מוח לעשות מוח? מה את אומרת על זה? מי המוח שעשה את המוח?
אנחנו חוזרים לאותו הדבר, אני לא יודעת. הטענה שלי שגם אתה לא יודע.
אבל ברור לך שמישהו עשה, כמו שברור לך ששעון לא נעשה לבד.
פוקוס פוקוס. זה מיליארדי שנים של עשייה מדבר שהוא היה פרימיטיבי.
בואי נגיד שזה ממיליארדי, אבל מישהו עשה.
אבל זה לא אוקוס פוקוס שזה נעשה כשעצמו שלם על ההתחלה. היה תהליך התפתחותי מאוד מאוד ארוך.
אני אשאל אותך שאלה. תגידי לי, זו שאלה
משהו שבכלל עכשיו אני אומרת, אני לא מחדשת כלום. בסך הכל...
ודאי, אני לא מאשים אותך כמחדש את התיאוריה הזאת. תיאוריה.
אין פה תיאוריה. אני פשוט אומרת מה ש...
למה?
כל מדעני העולם ללא יוצא מן הכלל טוענים, זה הכל.
טעות יש לך. איינשטיין לא אמר כמוך. איינשטיין אמר שיש אלוקים.
Theosophy, or the theosophical principle, has been a motivating influence on many prominent people. From Einstein to the great 18th century inventor and scientist Benjamin Franklin, to the early and lifelong member of the Theosophical Society, Thomas Edison. This is the common background of truth upon which they all draw, the perennial philosophy, as Aldous Huxley called it. And the scientists of the mind, too, have found echoes in Theosophy. Carl Jung, Nietzsche, Schweitzer. All had known and documented affinities with the concept of reincarnation, which, as we know, is basic to Theosophy.
סטיבן הוקינג, הביג בנג, אמר לפני כמה חודשים בעיתונות הישראלית טובה, שהאלוקים מבלבל אותנו. המדענים יודעים שיש מציאות אלוקית. הם רק באים להסביר איך נעשה הבריאה. לא מי עשה. המדע לא מתעסק במי עשה, אלא באיך נעשה. זה ההבדל, זה הטעות שלכם. המדע אומר, אני מתעסק ביש. יש לי חומר, אני יכול לבדוק אותו. אני לא יכול להתעסק באין שאני לא רואה. מדע לא יכול להתעסק באין. אז הוא אומר, אחרי שאני רואה חומר, אני אומר כך.
Science gathers evidence to support or reject the hypothesis of a particular theory that would deal with origins. And so the role science plays is as an objective evidence gatherer.
Is that human a product of natural processes, long periods of time, evolution, or must there have been intelligence behind that human? I am absolutely astounded when I realize that in our society, the conventional answer to the question I've just asked is that that human being is a product of natural processes and long periods of time. To me, it's astounding that so many people have fallen for that silly idea. If it takes intelligence to make an arrowhead, why doesn't it take even more intelligence to create a human? Just the human brain alone is 3 pounds of one of the most complex assemblages of matter known in the universe. Now, there are a lot of evolutionists who think I have a 1-pound brain. No. We all have 3-pound brains. And this brain consists of about 100 billion brain cells or neurons. And a typical neuron is connected to over 1,000 other neurons. Now imagine that. Picture going into the back of your television set, and here's a junction, and radiating from that junction are 1,000 wires. Each wire going to another junction. And that complex pattern repeated in slightly different forms 100 billion times. And you find somebody who believes that natural processes did that, and I'd like them to look me straight in the eye and tell me all about it. That is absolutely incredible. And yet that's what's being taught in our schools. And you and I, we are paying for that.
אבל מחלוקת המדענים גדולה מאוד בעולם אם את לא יודעת.
You have got a fantastic amount of information built into your body. You are intricately designed. You are extremely complex. Now, from time to time, mathematicians have asked a very natural question. Could natural processes, evolution, operating throughout the entire visible universe for billions and billions of years, could it produce these 4,000 books we see stacked up here? Or could it produce just the genetic material we know is in a bacteria, maybe one book's worth? Every study that I'm aware of, and I try to stay on top of all of them, have reached the same conclusion. No way, not even close. Probably the most thorough study of this nature was done at the Wistar Institute in Philadelphia several years ago. 50 mathematicians, biologists got together one summer to wrestle with this question. Dr. Murray Eden, who was from MIT, he's one of the organizers of that conference. He put it this way. He said that based on our understanding of the laws of chemistry and physics, what we know about randomness, we see no way that tremendous complexity in life can come about.
יש לי קלטות שהבאתי עכשיו מארצות הברית, שמדענים בעולם אומרים שגיל העולם לא עולה על 6,000 שנה, לפי מחקרים. זה פרופסורים אמריקאים, לא יהודים ולא דתיים.
But is there any published scientific evidence which challenges the evolutionary view of an ancient Earth and supports a young Earth? Scientist Dr. Robert Gentry, while working at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee, has found just that, publishing evidence which challenges the long time period of Earth's history. In 1977, the Research Communications Network published a special breakthrough report on the results of Dr. Gentry's scientific publications, characterizing their implications as follows. Current physical laws may not have governed the past. Earth's primordial crustal rocks, rather than cooling and solidifying over millions of years, crystallized almost instantaneously. Some geological formations thought to be 100 million years old are in reality only several thousand years old. Grant these propositions and any researcher will tell you the entire structure of the historical natural sciences would dissolve into formlessness. Few certainties would remain. Yet these very possibilities, and others equally challenging, have been suggested in a remarkable series of papers published over the past several years in the world's foremost scientific journals, Nature, Science, and Annual Review of Nuclear Science, among others. From Research Communications Network, Breakthrough Report 1977.
Coal, one of Earth's vast energy resources. Before we can answer the question as to the age of coal and the time of its formation, we need to ask the question, where did coal come from? Here in this coal mine in Price, Utah, we have the answer. Here is a log, almost completely turned to coal. There are thousands of such logs in this mine and in other mines here in the Price area. This fact tells us that given the right conditions of pressure and temperature and water and time, that wood and other vegetation will turn to coal. The question is, how long did it take for that to happen?
Robert Gentry and his son David, an associate in his father's work, explore this topic together.
To answer this question, we need to look at coalified wood specimens from uranium mines instead of coalified wood, like this log, from one of the coal mines here in the Price, Utah area. This coalified wood specimen comes from La Salle, Utah, a uranium mine. Its presumed geologic age is around 140 million years.
This specimen of coalified wood comes from a uranium mine in the Temple Mountain area here in Utah. Its presumed age is also 140 million years. But look how closely this specimen resembles this other piece of wood. They're nearly identical. It's interesting to note that this other piece of wood was derived from a fresh piece of wood like this, just a few weeks ago.
This close similarity raises an important question. Is it really true that this piece of coalified wood from LaSalle, Utah, and this piece of coalified wood from Temple Mountain, Utah, are really 140 million years older than this piece of wood which David and I recently obtained in some of our experiments? Not really. Locked in these and other coalified wood specimens from uranium mines is some remarkable evidence that tells quite a different story. To see that evidence requires that the coalified wood specimens be mounted in epoxy, thinly sliced, and then placed on glass slides for observation under the microscope. Under the microscope can be seen discolorations produced by radioactive particles ejected from tiny centers. Some are circular, others are elliptical, as can be seen in these photographs. These circular and elliptical halos required a special sequence of events to form, so special, in fact, that they completely overthrow the idea of an ancient age of coal, pointing instead to coal's recent formation, geologically speaking. In 1976, I published my results of the studies on these logs in the October 15, 1976 issue of Science. Here's what I said in this report. Such extraordinary values, referring to these lead-uranium ratios, admit the possibility that both the initial uranium infiltration and coalification could possibly have occurred within the past several thousand years. In other words, I was suggesting that coal could form very rapidly, geologically speaking. It contradicted the conventional way in which people have thought about the formation of coal. What was the reaction of the scientific community to this new data? I received a letter from Professor Raphael Kazman of Louisiana State University several months later, January 27, 1977. Dear Dr. Gentry, I have been patiently scanning the letters section of Science since the publication by you and your colleagues of your findings on radio halos. The silence is deafening. I think it can be interpreted as stunned silence. Your results will not greatly trouble the engineer, but the impact on the science of geology in possibly changing the accepted views as to the duration of geologic time will be felt for many years. Very truly yours, Raphael Kazman. Soon thereafter, Professor Kazman organized a symposium. It was entitled, It's About Time, 4.5 billion years. Is the Earth really 4.5 billion years old? When the results of the symposium were written up and published in the September 1978 issue of GeoTimes, here's what was said. However, since the deposits from which the coalified wood was obtained are considered to be at least of Cretaceous age and possibly of Jurassic or Triassic age, the ratio between uranium-238 and lead-206 should be low. Instead, some such halos have been found with uranium-lead ratios ranging from about 2,200 to over 64,000. If isotope ratios are to be used as a basis for geologic dating, then presently accepted ages may be too high by a factor of 10,000, admitting the possibility that the ages of the formation are to be measured in millennia. Translated, that means several thousand years for the formation of coal and all of those geologic formations. This information has remained unchallenged and unrefuted in the open scientific literature since it was published in 1976.
ויש המדען ציגלר פה בארץ שמשדר כל יום שלישי, את יכולה לשאול אותו שאלות גם ברדיו בכל הנשמה, בערוץ שמשדרים, והוא עונה על שאלות ותשובות בנושא גיל העולם, הוא מומחה לגיל העולם, זה העיסוק שלו,